Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics video on the channel. It is Wednesday and time for some more trade talk ahead of round 22. Only 3 weeks to go left in the AFL Fantasy season. So not long to go, only 6 trades and then that's it. We're done for 2025. So hopefully the last 6 trades you can get in the players that you've been chasing, players with good runs, and hopefully you can enjoy the last few weeks and can either get your top 100, win the car if you're in the car race, get your league finals won, top 1,000, top 2K, top 5K, top 10K, whatever your goal is, whatever league matchups you need to win, hopefully getting in players that can help you achieve those goals. So we're going to go through the most trade in-out players, as we always do, my top 5 targets, and then my current trade plans for this upcoming week. So we'll start off with the most trade-in players, and we'll start off with Jaiden Nguyen. I think I was saying Nguyen, but I'm pretty sure it's Nguyen is how it's pronounced. So apologies for getting that wrong. But Nguyen, 3.3k trading him in. Yep, that's fine. To Venom mid, 231k. If you need a green dot, it's fine paying the 1k, right? Obviously, if you fall 1k short, it's going to be annoying, but of the trades you want. But that's fine. 231k. He's playing defender mid. If you need cover, if you don't need cover, and you need a red dot, like I'm in a position where I actually need to bring in a red dot because I've actually got too many green dots on my bench. I'm just paying 230k, just getting someone in. But if you need a green dot, 231k, that's fine. So no problems with bringing him in at all. Didn't score great, but as long as he's covered, it doesn't really matter. I don't think too much. And I think he still played okay against Sydney. Jeremy Cameron, second on this, 2.4k jumping on him. So I was having a chat with friend of the show, Taser, messaging him about Jeremy Cameron and his thoughts. And he raised a good point that, watching that game as well, he played really deep and didn't get a huge amount of the ball. I think he had, what did he have, like 8 disposals or something like that, or 9 disposals? Didn't have many disposals at all. And I guess the worry is he's got great matchups, but if he's staying more as that here we go. So 8 kicks, 6 goals, right? And like the week before when he had that massive score, he had 22 touches, 9 marks, getting right at the ground. But if he's going to be staying real deep in the forward line and not getting a huge amount, like even the week, like he scored a 79 with 5 goals, 4 goals, 5 kicks, scored a 170 with 11 marks. Like if he's doing that sort of stuff, then great. But if he's doing like against St Kilda and Port, where he's more deep at home forward, I sort of wonder if you're probably not going to get those massive 120s. Like the fact he's got Essendon, then Richmond in the final game, but he's got Sydney in between, which I don't love. But 2 of his last 3 are great. He's a perfect F7. Like if you can go like a McCarthy out to Cameron on your bench, I really like that play. But part of me is thinking if it's on field, is it time yet, or is that something we do in round 24 when he's got Richmond and it's just 1 week? That's partly what I'm thinking, because I was really hot on bringing him in, but thinking about that a bit more, maybe I go, like, I don't have a grind Myers either, so I'm looking at him this week, but maybe that's something to consider with that. I still like the pick. I still think could be good with the matchups, but I guess it's just something to factor in a little bit. If he's just trying to get these 25 goals and John going to feed him, maybe he's just going to stay more in forward 50, which means he's not going to go out the ground, get those +6s that gets into that score build. So just something to consider with him, but I don't mind the pick still. Max Holmes is next on this, 2.2k jumping on him. Big fan of this pick. I jumped on a while ago, but I know a lot of people didn't because he was expensive and they're waiting to hope that he would come down in price, but he just hasn't come down in price. He's just been really, really consistent, and he's doing now what a lot of people that started him thought he was going to do to begin the year. Like he's a lot of tons, like only 2 games below a ton since round 11. Just really, really consistent. I think I jumped on him in the Port game, so not great first week, but after that has been really good and was a bit quiet to start the year, but just getting it done, like week in, week out. Great matchups to come. I think he's a very, very good pick. He's expensive, but really good matchups, and I'd be looking at taking him. So if you don't have him, really, really good target. Lockie Whitfield, 2k jumping on him. A lot of people have already jumped on him the last couple of weeks, but again, great target, 967k. Still really cheap, averaging 104.8 with that 23 there as well. Like he's just getting it done this year, and definitely a top 6 defender, probably a top couple of defender there. And again, I did this, what was it, last week, but if you were to remove that score of 23 from his score and work out what his average is from his other 18 games, he is averaging 109.4 for the year. So, yeah, and there's only, Nasiah that's better than that there this year. So, yeah, love the Whitfield pick. If you don't have him, I'd try to keep a yawn in there if people were noticing that. Yeah, I like Whitfield as a pick if you don't have him. So, yep, really like that. Jai Farah, 1.7k jumping on him. I get it. He scored well 2 weeks in a row. Minus 20 break even. It's not time of the year to be doing this play. It's just, if he's on your bench as cover, I'm not paying up that much for him. And if he's on your, well, you're not bringing him on field, right? So, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm just trying to save as much cash as possible. So, Newen, I'd be going there. You're saving 143k. That is the difference between getting a suboptimal premium to getting probably the premium you want. So, for me, I know Jai Farah's been great. This would have been a really good option before, like pre-buys, or maybe even during the buys. But now we've moved past the money-making process, and now it's about getting these players on field. So, for me, I wouldn't be going there personally, but he is the fifth most trading, which is quite interesting. Noah Anderson, next on list, 1.6k. I don't mind the pick. Obviously, he's had an amazing year, right? Been very, very good. Obviously, his average is 102.3, but the only thing I worry about is Carlton. Cooper Lord's been doing some tagging jobs, and I just worry that I think the guy you're getting to tag at Gold Coast is Noah Anderson, because Matt Ray you can't really stop. Like he's a ball in the midfield. He gets the tackles. He gets all the contested possessions. Like all his touches are contested essentially. So what are you going to stop? Like you can't really stop anything. Whereas Noah Anderson, I think teams can clamp him down, and I think that he was so good last week again. He's just been so good all year. I just think that he'll get attention. And we've seen games where he goes a bit lower, like the 70s and 80s here, the 60 there. Obviously left that game a little bit early, but still 78 here. When I think it was Chase Jones went to him later on in the game against the Crows. So I don't know if he's the one I'd go to this week. I don't know if I love the Carlton matchup. And then Giants isn't great. Port should be fine to end the year, but I don't know if I love the run. I think there are other guys that have got better runs in the year, but if you're hot on him, I don't mind the pick because he's been really good. Someone I'm a big fan of this week, seventh most trade in, is Grind Myers at 1.6k, bringing him in. I love this as a pick. Again, he is averaging 95 for the year, but I think that's slightly a misleading average, because if we remember all the way back to the Hawthorn Easter Monday game, scored a 43 from just over half a game, right? So if you were to remove that early injury of 43 and see what his average is from the other games, he has an average of 98.4, so just under a ton. So not huge difference, right? But he's so good. He's getting CBAs now as well. 122 last week, which was a second high score for the season. Second score of 120, and he's just been really since he came back from that concussion. He's just been really consistent. Like he's had one score below 87, which was a 78 against Brisbane. It's a tough matchup, you can understand. And he hasn't been huge here, but 122, and he's got a great run home. Like he went 102 against Richmond, he's got them. Essendon, he's got a 112, he's already played them. And then Sydney, did they play Sydney earlier this year? No, they haven't played Sydney yet. So, but I just think he's got such a good role. And I feel like there's a game where against either Essendon or Richmond where he had like 13 marks against West Coast, had 9 against GWS, 10 against Melbourne. I could see this being like a mid-20s disposals, maybe 8, 9, 10 marks, 4, 5 tackles, because he's tackling more because he's in the midfield. And he's like, it's raising his floor as well. These tackles in the midfield are raising his floor. He didn't even play great in the previous 2 games, but he's still got it done. So really, really like this pick. I think he's a forward that you probably want to have to end the year, and someone I'm definitely targeting this week. Lockie Ash, number 8 most trading this week. I like Ash as a pick as well. Just over $1 million, but he's been really consistent. Had the 2 really poor scores, and have they both been 65, 63? And that was in the run against Melbourne, and then just didn't play very well against Sydney. Was a bit really poor. Outside of that, though, 90s, I didn't even realise he had 96% TOG in that game as well, but was everywhere. 36 touches, 12 marks, 135. His first 120-plus score that we've got, because obviously the other one was in opening round. And look at this. Like he's had 1 score sub-ton since round 9, and he went back-to-back. But even before that, had like like a 93, 89, 95. They're solid scores. Like, he's just been really, really good all year and been one of the picks of the year if you started with him. Yeah, I'm a fan of bringing him in, and I think we got a flag on our Q&A last night that North Melbourne, Constanti, does he go to someone? If he's going to go to anyone, it's probably going to be Whitfield. I don't know if he'd go to Ash instead. There's a chance he does, but I think you're backing in the play, you're backing in the run. I'm still fine bringing in Lockie Ash as an option. Sorry about that, just had to clear the throat. Then we got, number 9, Jai Cully. Interesting pick. What's his... Yeah, 368. I'm just probably not playing around with these areas personally. I know a few people bring him in, but yeah, I'm not going here. Just, again, like Farah, I'm just saving the money on the bench. And if he's on your field, you're not wanting to bring a rookie on field. So, yeah, for me, I'm not bringing in Jai Cully. And then Jesse Totoli is the 10th most trading player. Is his price up there as well? 296. Yeah, like, again, same thing, right? There's cheaper options that are playing. I'm saving the cash personally. He looked good. Like, I think he'd be a good player for Sydney, but and I think Cully will play well for Melbourne to end the year. And Farah's been good for Richmond, but I'm just saving money personally with all the rookies when it comes to that. So I'm probably not looking at targeting any of those guys. Jordan Dawson, great target. 1,000 coaches jumping on him. A lot of people that didn't own him. Number 1 averaging mid for the year, averaging 109.7. So if they round up to 110. Yeah, and he's got a great run home. He's got West Coast. He's got like what did he go against West Coast earlier in the year? Yeah, 139. And he just, again, even that game, like 27 touches, 6 marks, 9 tackles, 2 goals, 3, just hits all the stat lines. Great matchup there. Then he goes North Melbourne in the last game where he went 85. That was probably the one game this year where I looked at Dawson and went, he looked off, just didn't look good at all. No reason for that. Just didn't have a good game. And he's got Collingwood, who he loves playing Collingwood. Went 138 against them early in the year. I know it was at the G, but every time he plays Collingwood, he seems to play really well. So he's got a great run home. I think he's a great target if you don't have him. He's at a decent enough price. I'd be definitely targeting Jordan Dawson if you don't have him. Alex Neil-Bullen's an interesting one. If you want to take a punt, you could go there because obviously the run home is good. He's the number 1 averaging forward over the last 3 weeks, averaging 111 with a 130, 5 against Gold Coast, 31 touches, career high there. Then 108 against Port, and then 91 against Hawthorn. I guess the one thing I worry with Neil Bullen is that, so he had a career game against Gold Coast here, then he had 12 tackles in the wet, which is no surprise, it was so wet, and then he had a solid game against Hawthorn. He's got good, you could do worse, right? And I love Neil Bullen as a player, right? I think he's been a great pickup for the Crows. I think he's been the best one of the 3, and I did call that pre-season out of him coming in Neil Bullen. So him coming in Peatling. I don't know is the answer for fantasy. And when I don't know, that's probably when I tend to not go there. But as a forward, if you can go like McCarthy up to, say, Whitfield, and you've only got 100k to go, Jack Martin up to Neil Bullen, I could tick it off. There are certain scenarios where I could tick off Neil Bullen. I guess I'd probably want to think a bit more about it because I'm not sure, which probably means I probably won't go there personally. But you could if you want to. It's not the worst option. Oscar Adams, if there's no other defenders playing, you need someone playing. 241k is not too bad. I think that's you could do that. But I'm probably trying to save as much as possible. Josh Dunkley, yep, love this as a pick. He's been great the last month, just getting it done back to the Dunkley that we know and love in fantasy. And he's gone over 113 in his last over 112 in each of his last 4 games. Just these are the Dunkley numbers we know, and he got it done on the weekend with not as many tackles. So if he could put a game together where he gets a lot of the ball and gets a lot of tackles, we could be seeing 140s. Whether it's against one of Sydney Free or Hawthorn, not an amazing run home, but I think those are games that suit Dunkley. And I think we've got to highlight as well is on the weekend, 76% game time. He got stuck on the bench twice, which isn't normal. MCG, that can happen sometimes. So the fact that he still had a really good game and he got stuck on the bench, it's positive for Dunkley. So I really like him. He's a bit more unique than what you think. So if you can afford him, I do like Dunkley as a pick. I really do. I brought him in, not last week, the week before, and been really enjoyable owning him. Hugh McCluggage, I would have said yes with Neil being out, but Sydney this week, I think with Neil being out, I think Jordan almost certainly goes to McCluggage this week. which means I'm probably not going there. And then he's got Freo. That could be an O'Meara. Hawthorn, it's tough in itself. So I don't think we're going there. I just think with the couple of tags probably come next back-to-back weeks with Neil being out, I wouldn't go there. I like the thinking, though, with Neil being out. I'm just not going there with that. I don't mind Hewitt, though, as an option. I actually quite like Hewitt if you're looking for an underpriced mid. More for the run home. Gold Coast, Port, and then Essendon. Really, really good run home. Okay, he had a few tough weeks with some bad scores when Carlton's run wasn't great. But he had a 653. Outside that, though, been consistent. Tons. Having some good scores. I think you can go there. And he had 0 tackles against Melbourne, which that's his only game this year where he's had no tackles. So I think he had 1 tackle against GWS, 1 tackle against West Coast. That rarely happens. Normally he puts up a lot of tackles. So yeah, I think Hewitt, you can definitely go there. And he'd be someone in the 900, like low 900s, I'd be probably happy to look at, I think. So hopefully he averages over 100 as well. Be the first time in his career he's done that, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Jordy Payne is someone, if you're looking for someone that's playing, will probably get a game this week. I think Holmesy, said that he's kicked like near 10 goals in his last 2 games at VFL. Curtis has got a week suspension. Larky, I think, will be missing. So I think Jordy Payne will probably make his debut for North Melbourne this week, or there's a chance to. So if you need someone playing, he is a good option there. Errol, I like as an option. Brisbane this week isn't great, but then he goes Geelong, West Coast. Really like him. Nasai, obviously an amazing target if you can afford him there. Richmond, then Essendon. And then I guess Dev Robertson might be someone that comes in for maybe Lockie Neal. He's 230k mid forward, so maybe just go there and save as much cash as possible. Looking at the most traded out, this will probably be pretty quick with a lot of these outs, but Connor Rosie's most traded out. I think if he plays, I think he's a hold. Another week to rest that hand. If we'd all known that he was going to miss last week and he was going to miss a few weeks and stuff with the hand, I think we would have all traded that week that he hurt his hand. But obviously that was the week that we had Horn Francis and Nick Martin. And Tristan Cherry, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that the week up? I don't know. We had so many bullets in the last few weeks. But like 95 in the wet against the Crows when I got smashed with a sore hand. Only 2 marks. I think he's still going to be fine. I still think Rosie's fine. Freo, Carlton, Gold Coast is a pretty nice run home. I'd be holding Rosie if he's playing. If he's out, he's obviously a trade. But if he's playing, I'd just be holding personally there. Tom McCarthy, I think he can go. 2K coach are jumping off him. If he's on field, I think upgrading him, it's a good time to do it. Crows this week, not a great matchup. If he's on your bench, you could upgrade to a 23rd Primo. If you go him all the way down, you can bank some more cash. I'd prefer to go like one of these other rookies down if you can still get the upgrade on the other end. But if you need to go down, it's fine to go. Angus Clark, Harry Ralston, both can go. Both got cash on their head, and Ralston's dropping money a fair bit now as well with being sub, but I'd be trading both. There's no circumstance I'd be really keeping him if you're looking to downgrade. They'd be the guys to go. Chris Petrarca is a very interesting one. So 1.7k jumping off him, 5th most traded out player, 846k, averaging 91 for the year. Like, his floor's been 70. So it's not awful in a forward line, but he's just had no ceiling. Like, he's had 3 tons since round 8. It's been a 104, 105, 105. He's only had 1 score other than that's in the 90s. Most weeks he's just been a 70 or an 80s guy, which is disappointing. And we've been talking about guys like Caleb Daniel and even Jack McRae to an extent lately that have got to go. But Petrarca's probably in that mix. Simon Goodwin being sacked probably changes things a little bit. Does he get thrown more into the midfield again? Do they prioritise him over maybe a Viney or an Oliver? Does he play more forward? We don't know. I think if you've got no other issues, I'm fine trading if you don't have a Myers or a Kennedy. But I think if you've got Baz, Myers, Kennedy, I don't think there's a real need to trade out a Petrarca or a Warner or someone like that just sideways to go to another forward, right? I think Petrarca's just fine there. And yeah, I think that's an interesting one there. Did they play the Dogs earlier in the year? I feel like they might have, but maybe they haven't. No, they haven't. I thought they have, but yeah, it's interesting they haven't played the Dogs and it's round 22 this year. So Hawthorn scored a 92, and then Collingwood scored an 89. So obviously a couple of lower ones there, but yeah, I'm fine holding, but I'm fine trading. It's probably one of those ones a little bit in between there. Zach Butters, I'm fine trading. Again, if you've got all your ducks in order, ducks in a row, whatever the saying is, he's just 34 is just not acceptable from a premium. 141 break even. Like, he had a good 3 of his last 4 before last week was good, but teams will just tag him because there's no Horn Francis, there's no one else in Portsmouth that they're going to tag. O'Meara will go to him this week, or a Wagner if he's back. Carlton, maybe it's a Cooper Lord, maybe they bring in Chincotta to tag him, but it's the blueprint's there from Mullen. And Carlton will think they can win that game as well. And Freo and Gold Coast need to beat Port. And as long as you shut down Butters, you sort of like, yeah, we should be winning this. So I think I'm trading Butters and getting him up to a Dunkley type, a Dawson, one of those guys up the top that are less likely to get won't get tagged, or are less likely to get the tag, or can fight through it a bit more, because I'm just not sure Butters can at the moment with not much help around him. Archer May, yep, can go. Liddy can go, yep. Same with Zach Johnson there as well. Hayden Young obviously injured. He's got to go as well, unfortunately. Sam Flanders, yeah, he's definitely got to go. 56 against Richmond last week's, again, unacceptable. He's someone to probably keep an eye on next year. Averages 71. And if he moves clubs or not, I guess that's probably something to watch. But yeah, like, run's not amazing either. Doesn't have a great role. Took's back as well. I'm just not about Flanders this year, so he's got to go. And sorry, I didn't even look at his price. What was his price? Like 716. So yeah, even if you can only get to Sicily, I'd be making that move personally. But hopefully you can get him up a little bit further to at least someone in that 900k range. But yeah, he's got to go for me. Merritt, I think, is a good trade out as well. Bit similar to Butters. Not much help around him at the moment with the injuries, and Geelong this week, if they're trying to trial Mullen to get ready for finals, to do this to multiple players, I think he's got to go because he could cop the tag. Then St Kilda, like Windy, sort of it's on and off. Like he wasn't tagged, and then he tagged Cosy Pickett, which I know he did a good job against Cosy in the year, but does he go to Merritt in this one? Then Carlton, is it a Lord, Chincotta, Hewitt? They normally do tag Merritt in that game, so I'm just a bit worried there. So like he scored 94 against Geelong earlier in the year. O'Connor went to him that day. So I just worry that he's going to get some hard attention. And then Carlton, he went to 79, who he plays last. Has he played St Kilda yet this year? No, he hasn't. So we don't have any evidence if they're going to tag him. But still, I think it's time to go for him. Jack Steele, again, has probably got to go as well. High priority to trade. I know he's got Richmond this week, but he's dropping so much money. Like it's just been a frustrating own. Unfortunately, last couple of weeks, and we're all jumping on. I was jumping on up until I heard about that shoulder concern. Then I jumped off, and obviously had the 46, and then he was sub, and then scored 25. So he's probably someone, maybe if he moves clubs, because I'm hearing Drew Jones talk about maybe there's a bit of sort of the relationship breakdown behind the scenes. If he moves clubs, priced it in the mid 90s, and if he doesn't have a great end to the year, could be a cheap option to. Underpriced option maybe next year to start with, because he's still 29. Like he's certainly not past it by any means, and we've seen some good games from Steele this year. Maybe just fits another team better. So just someone to put in the black book maybe for next year that could be maybe slightly unders. Ned Long, got to go. Caleb Sarong, I'd be fine trading as well. Just again isn't getting through the tags. Teakle's got to go. Cherry's back this week, so you got to get him up if he's on your field. Taru, yep, he can go. He's on your bench. Go him down. Same with Kako. Chera can go. Obviously missed last week, but even if he comes back this week, he's got a good run home, to be fair. But again, he hasn't shown much of a ceiling really this year. He's been a good pick, obviously from where he was. He was cheap, and a lot of people started him. I wish I did, but hasn't turned up since round 15. A couple of nines in there, but just some average scores, and his game time's been fairly low. I don't know if he's maybe managing some soreness from maybe around here, and that's why his game time's been low, but there's no need for them to run Chair into the grand end of the year. So for me, I'd be trading him out. And then we'll finish off, I guess, with Zorko's probably the one here, because the other guys probably speak for themselves to trade it. But Zorko, I'd be happy to trade as well. Just the Liz Frank injury, they're going to manage that on the way home. He hasn't been great the last few weeks. He got an 80 last week, which obviously for a defender's not what you want for someone that has been one of those top premium defenders. 55 the week before, 103, 104, 79. Just not been great since the mid-season bye. And if he's managing a foot injury, if that flares up, they'll manage him in games. I'm just... because they want him right for finals, right? So for me, I'm jumping off Zorko at this moment. And you can get in, if you know, over Whitfield, Sinclair, Ash... So there's so many defenders. Josh Dacos is pretty solid as well. Nasai, if you don't have him, like there's Sheasel, like there's good options in defence. So I'm happy to jump off Dane Zorko if you've got him there. My top 5 targets for round 22. Again, it is always tough, obviously, to do targets this late in the year because it's very team dependent what you're looking for. So I'm going to go Grind Myers as my number 1 trade-in option this week. I just think the run to end the year is still unique. I think he's a good option in the forward line and one of the few forwards I think we can trust. So for me, he is number 1. I've still got Lachie Whitfield at number 2. He's cheap for what he's going to do. North Melbourne this week, then Gold Coast and St Kilda. Great matchups to end the year. I'm jumping on Whitfield if you don't have him. My number 3 option, I'm going to go Jordan Dawson in the midfield if you're looking for an upgrade. The only slight flag, I guess, is that West Coast North Melbourne, does he rest slightly? But then there's the argument that Crows keep rolling. No need to be changing anything. But he might rest the final 5-10 minutes on the bench. That's the only worry with ceilings, but I think there's the ability that he can go massive anyway. So for me, Jordan Dawson is a very good pickup in the midfield. So I've got him at number... Actually, no, sorry. I'll go number 4. Sorry, I'll go Max Holmes. Sorry, I literally forgot to say Max Holmes. Max Holmes number 3 against the Bombers. If you don't have Max Holmes, great target. Just bring him in. Very, very good target. Now I've got Jordan Dawson at number 4. And then at number 5, I've got Nasai at like the number 1. If you don't have him, just try and get him in. Pay up for him. Number 5, there's a few options I like. Like I like Dunkley to round out the list. I like Lockie Ash. I like Matt Kennedy, who was here we didn't talk about before, but he's got a good run to end the year. I still like Matt Rao. Obviously, he's expensive, but yeah. I'll probably say Dunkley to round out the 5, but Ash is probably unlucky one there along with a Matt Kennedy there. So Jeremy Cameron also a very good option. I guess I'm just worried about if he's staying at home as a forward, maybe just doesn't have that massive in. But he's got the Bombers, so if we bring him as a 23rd primo, like if there was a top 5 targets for 23rd primo, Cameron would be number 1. I reckon just with the really good matchup coming this week and the richer matchup in the last round. But I'm probably looking at targeting him in the final round. So that would be my top 5. My trades ahead of this week. So at the moment, I have got Rouston going down to Charlie Edwards. So just bringing in red dots. I need a red dot. So I've got too many green dots, unfortunately, on my bench. And then at the moment, it's one of McCarthy or Parker. I'm not sure which one yet. One of those two will be going to Grind Myers. So I can go McCarthy up to Grind Myers and put Parker as a 23rd primo. Or I just go Parker up to him, have McCarthy on the bench as cover, and then I take 160k into next week. So that's something I'm tossing up whether I do. So like maybe I'll loop a Mills early. If he scores well, I don't need another premium down the line to cover him. So that might dictate maybe some early loops dictate if I go and just hold Parker or if I trade him and just keep McCarthy for a week, because McCarthy's going to make money. Parker probably won't, because he's got to break even just over 100. So if McCarthy makes money, it probably means I can get that 23rd premium next week but have more money to play with. So that's part of what I'm thinking. So yeah, that'll probably be one I'll decide later on in the week. But at the moment, it's probably Parker out, but it could be McCarthy, one of those two. So that's what I'm looking at. I could also go Daniel out, but after 115, I might hold unless he was to get dropped or something. But if he hasn't got dropped now, I just don't think he will at this stage of the year. That'll be it for Trade Talk for another week. It's only a few weeks to go, so only 6 trades to go. But let me know what your trades are, guys, for round 22. I'd like to see what you guys are doing ahead of the third to last week of the season, semi-final week for a lot of leagues out there as well. And if I can get to any questions and comments, I'll try and do so. But if you do want a guaranteed answer, though, to your question, and you want to share us a pint or coffee at the same time, head over to our Patreon for the final couple weeks of the season. I think it's like $10 for the final month if you want to jump over there and see what the Patreon's all about and get a little bit of extra support if you'd like to do that. Put all subscriptions for Patreon are paused once the season stops, so you only got to pay the 1 month. And then that's it. So if you want to jump in for the final couple of weeks of the year and get a team review every week, Patreon Q&As every Wednesday night there, and jump into that, then you can do that. Link is in the description below, or head to patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. Also, make sure you guys do join our AFLW Fantasy Fanatics Open League as well. I've said it on the last few videos and pods. So the code for that one is BI1H5QVS. So the code again is BI1H5QVS. So if you haven't registered well for AFLW Fantasy, go to aflwfantasy.afl and get your team sorted, because we are 8 days away. Next Thursday is when we will be kicking the season off. So really looking forward to that. Tom did his team review yesterday. I'm doing my team review tomorrow, so make sure you guys check those 2 out as well. We'll have, I believe at this stage, a special guest jumping on for our AFLW pod next week that we'll be releasing. So looking forward to that, building up to that. But obviously, 3 weeks to go in the men's fantasy. So, hopefully you guys finish off strong, achieve your goal of top 1,000, top 100, top 10, car, semi-final win in your league, top 5K, top 10K, whatever it is. Hopefully you guys can achieve those goals and end the season off on a high as we are nearly done. So make sure you do smash a big thumbs up on the video. That'd be very much appreciated. So just find the thumbs up button on the video. Click this and click the like. It takes a couple of seconds, but really helps us out a lot. So very much appreciate if you guys could do that for us. And also subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. We've still got daily content on the channel for the remainder of the AFL Fantasy season, plus the AFLW Fantasy season. We've got plenty of content for that as well. We're trying to go to 5K subscribers. So if you can help us reach that, that would be very much appreciated. So I'll be back very shortly with Tom, as always, to preview Game Day squad for round 22. And then tomorrow we've got captains and my AFLW fantasy team. So double upload for you guys tomorrow there as well. And then Friday Pre-Lockout Chat, as always, 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. per time. So that'll be it for today. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. So thanks everyone. Have a good night. See ya.